Walk on your little nannies. I check this. Man had to go dentist for a little checkup. Now as I'm bopping through, the dentist opens my mouth and tells me I need a filling. I told him, yeah, that's calm still, calm. Man hasn't eaten today, so I'm trying to get full up. He goes, okay, please step this way. So he takes me to his laboratory. Now all I see is one long blue chair with a lot of technology. So obviously I'm a bit paranoid, car. All I'm thinking is surgical operation, and maybe this guy might be a pagan from a few years back. Maybe I sucked him for his phone and he's trying to get payback. Anyways, I sit down, car. He works for the NHS, so man trusts him. So he opens my mouth, and all I hear is one mechanical machine touching my tooth. But I stay composed, car. I ain't trying to bang him for no reason. Suddenly, a thing comes out of nowhere, sticks a hoover down my throat, trying to suck man's saliva. So I go, cause she was trying to suck man's hydration. I get up, I give the dentist one happy slappy, cause he was trying to do tag team with her, and I told him if I ever catch you on the block, man's gonna execute you. Anyways, look, let's jump straight into this. A little soccer toa thing, lightweight thing, you understand? One sec, let me drink a little something, give me a sec. A little champagne and them thing there. Okay, one sec. Okay, let's jump straight into this. Look, a little soccer toa thing, trigonometry. Now this one, some people have confusion, but man's gonna do expansion on your skull to make this a bit easier, a bit comprehensible, you understand? So give me a sec. So let's get straight into this. So this whole soccer toa thing, what's it all about? That's the question you might be asking yourself. So let me write this down, hang on a sec. So soccer toa, yeah, first let's look at SOH. Now, what does this mean? You might be asking yourself. Basically, yeah, what it means is this S is for the sine, and then you're going to put the angle in here, is equal to this O, which stands for the opposite. Underground, this H, which stands for hypotenuse. Now, what you need to understand here is that the hypotenuse is the longest side. Now, if you look at this triangle here, yeah, you see this thing here, yeah, this is the longest side. This is what we call the hypotenuse. This is always true, you get me? So whenever you have a right angle triangle like this, yeah, you see how this is the right angle thing here? Opposite this is what we call the hypotenuse. This line is always the longest line. You understand? So it's always the hypotenuse. Calm. And also, if you look up here, I've written hypotenuse is the longest side. Yeah, calm. I've obviously we'll get into this, but man's just trying to give you a little explanation. This opposite thing is the line opposite the angle. We'll get into that. Don't worry. And this adjacent thing is just chilling on the roads like it's a side, man. You get me? We're not really deep in that, but don't worry. We're gonna get into it. So that's calm. So let me get into that. So that's for SOH. Now let's look at CAH. So SOH CAH TOA. So CAH, the C stands for, the cos angle. Yeah. And that's equal to A, which is obviously the adjacent thing up here. So man's going to put adjacents. I know this spelling's bad. Underground, H, which is hypotenuse. Yeah. Man knows my spelling hasn't been good, but don't disrespect man like that. Now let's look at the third one. It's telling me TOA. Now, TOA is a bit different. So the T is for tan angle. So tan and then angle. Or should I say angle. Is equal to O. Obviously opposite. Give me a sec. Underground A, which is the adjacents. Okay, calm. So man's got that out of the way now, just to give you an explanation of what's going on there. But let's actually apply this to a question. Now, this is how you lot need to think when you're doing these types of questions, yeah? So let's get straight into this. Now, a question like this, so obviously it's telling me solve for X, yeah? Now, this is the first thing you lot need to do. The first thing you lot want to do is you're going to look at this angle. I want you lot to take a good look at this angle and say, that's a good looking angle. Obviously, it's 30 degrees and everything there. Once you've analysed the angle, the next thing you say to yourself is, what line do they want us to find and what line have they given us? You understand? So let's go through this together. So the line they want us to find is this one here. This blue thing, yeah? Now what's really special about this blue line is that it's opposite the angle. You understand? Because the angle's here and the blue line's opposite. So therefore, we're going to label that blue line O for opposite. You understand? Because it's opposite the angle. If you look up here, opposite line, opposite the angle. Yeah, calm. Now remember, that was the first question. The second question is, what line have they given us? They've given us this green line down here. Now this green line is obviously not the hypotenuse, because remember, the hypotenuse is the long line, which is up here. It's not that one, yeah, calm. So therefore, this has to be the adjacents, A. You understand? So let me put it in blue so we don't confuse each other. So this is A, yeah? So what we've got here is O and A. So it's not this one. It's not this one. It's this one, O and A. You get me? TOA. Calm. So once we know that, this becomes really, really easy thing. So all you're going to write down now is you're going to write TOA. Yeah? So remember, tan of the angle. Now the angle's telling me 30 degrees. Is equal to opposite. Now the opposite is x here in this case. So one's going to put x. Underground adjacent, which we found to be 5. Calm. Now we need to solve for x. So man's trying to get x by itself. But if you can see under the bed here, we've got a little 5 chilling. Now we don't want this 5 here. Now in order to get rid of a division, you have to do opposite of division. Now what's opposite of division? Multiplication. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to times this whole thing by 5. But remember, in the world of the mathematics, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So I'm going to times this side by 5 too. So what you're going to have is 5 tan of 30 is equal to, so what's going to happen here, yeah, is this 5 and this 5 is going to cancel. So you're going to be left with x. Now, if you put this into your calculator, obviously make sure you're in degrees mode. You should get x equals 5 tan 30. And what's that telling me? It's telling me 2.89 meters. Calm. Listen, we're gonna go through more questions. Don't worry. If you're still about confused, don't worry. As we do these questions, you know, you're gonna have a better, understanding of what's going on. So give me a sec. Let me just rub all this out. Hang on a second. Oh, this takes long. One sec. Let me drink a little bit more water. You get me? Bit more water. Bit more hydration, respiration. Calm, bro. Calm. Okay, so let's do another question now. Let's say if the question was telling me, let's see if I have any more questions. Okay, calm. Let's say if we had this here, this here, this here. Yeah. Oh, that looks wonky, brother. Let me do that again. Okay, we'll go with that. So it's a right angle thing. And then you got 45 degrees up here. Calm. Put 45 degrees up there. And let's say what they give us is, they give us this x here. And then they give us 8 meters here. And they're telling us find x. So remember what the first step is. The first step is we're going to take a look at this angle. We're going to look at it. We're going to be like, that looks like a decent angle. You know that one's there? 45 degrees in that. Now you say to yourself, what line do they want us to find? They want us to find this blue line here. Now it's not a coincidence that this blue line is opposite the angle. You get me? So what man's going to do, I've realized that that blue line is opposite the angle. So I'm going to put O for blue, for opposite angle thing. Now I say to myself, what line have they given us? They've given us this green line here. And what do we know? The long side is always what? H for hypotenuse. You get me? Because remember, hypotenuse is the longest side. You get me? And that side is always the longest side. This long one here is always the long one. Calm. So I'm going to put H. So now I say to myself, okay, H and O. So I've got O and H here. So I look at this. I look at here. I'm like, is it SOH? Is it CAH? Or is it TOA? Now SOH has O and H. You get me? So we're going to be using SOH. Calm. Let me rub that out. So what man's going to say to myself is sine of the angle is equal to opposites over the hypotenuse. Calm. Once I've got this, it's a light work thing. So remember substitution thing. So sine of the angle is 45, is equal to opposite, which we found is to be x. Underground thing, hypotenuse, which we found to be 8. Now remember, we need to make x the subject. So right now, this 8 is under the bed. Now look, we need to get rid of a division thing. Now in order to get rid of a division thing, multiplication thing. So man's going to times this side by 8. But remember, in the world of the mathematics, whatever you do to one side, you do to the other side. So I'm going to times this side by 8 too. So I'm going to have 8 sine 45. And then obviously, as per usual, these two cancel out. So it's going to be leaving me x. And if you put this in your calculator, 8 sine 45, make sure you're in degrees mode. You should get AX is equal to 5.6, I think, 6 meters. Calm. Listen, let's do one more. Cause I want you lot to have a full understanding of, what's going on here. Give me a sec. Let me rub all of this out. Give me a sec. Don't go anywhere. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Man's just doing my thing. Man's just chilling, doing my thing. I was thinking of jumping on X Factor. You get me, fam? Show them some real talent. Okay, give me a sec. Oh, calm. So now, let's say if the question was telling me something like this here, and then this here. Okay, I don't really care how wonky that looks. We're going to put 60 degrees here. And then we're going to put the right angle. And then it's going to tell us to find X here. And it's going to give us 3 meters down here. So remember, the first step is telling me, look at the angle. So a man's going to take a good look at the angle. And I'm thinking, what's the angle telling me? And then I'm going to say, okay, so normally this would be the opposite. But obviously the line, there's nothing here. So we don't really care about the opposite. So then I say to myself, okay, this long line here, which is H, Calm. So that's definitely involved. So let me wrap that out. Let me just wrap that out. So H is involved. And then I say to myself, okay, if O was here but it's not involved, there's only one left. The A for adjacence. So I'm going to put A here. You understand? Calm. So we're dealing with A and H. You understand? So I say to myself, is it SO? Is it CAH? Or is it TOA? Now, CAH has A and H. So man's dealing with CAH. You understand? So man's going to put CAH. So as per usual, cos angle, you get me, is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Yeah? So cos of 60 is equal to adjacent, which is 3, over hypotenuse, which is the H here, x. Calm. Now look, this one's a bit different, car. As you lot can see, the x is on the bottom. Now man needs the x to be on the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this, you understand? I'm going to take the x up there, the 3 on the bottom. But whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. Now remember, cos 60 automatically is always divided by 1. You get me? That's mathematically correct. So man's going to flip this as well. So man's going to get 1 over cos 60 is equal to x over 3. You understand what I've done there? So man flip the right hand side, so therefore man flip the left hand side. You understand? Now when I do this, we can do the thing. So if you see here, man's trying to get x by itself, but right now it's division by 3. So what's the opposite of division by 3? Multiplication by 3. But whatever you do to one side, you do to the other side. Calm. So man's going to get x is equal to 3 times 1 over cos 60. So if I put that into my calculator, that's giving me 6 meters. Calm. Listen, don't worry, man's got you. I hope this, helped make it a bit more simplification for you lot. I hope it was a bit easier. But look, do your thing. More videos coming soon. Love.